Welcome in. Do not adjust your screens. I look this much smarter. Yes, and I am wearing some glasses, so you know I got some good takes today, my man. Anyways, if you didn't know, if now you know, it's Views from the Stands, your favorite show, man. And it's been a minute since we all got the boys together, and we are back and ready to go. I am your host, Stevie B, Steve Brennan. Sorry we're running a little bit late. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but that's what makes live television and live shows so much fun, because everything can go wrong, and it usually does. So anyways, now that we got that out the way, we got the boys in the building. We got Mr. G Mike in the building, and we got Mr. BC, and it is a very honor to have you guys all back together, and I'm extremely happy to see you guys all together. Man, we got a fun-filled show for you tonight, man. We're going to have some news about the Orlando Magic, making a lot of news. You know, BC's going to love that one. And, of course, Miami Heat could not be outdone, making some moves as well. We're going to start our breakdown of the mighty NFC East. And Mr. G, Mike, your boys are in there, and I know you're going to have a lot to say about that one with those dreaded Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to have another also fun-filled DownBad debate. But before we get into all of that good stuff, man, you know we got to pay some bills. Mr. G, Mike, let the good people know what you have going on, my man.
Yes, sir. Guys, if you're into sports gambling, I run a Telegram channel where we offer sports gambling slips each and every day to get you winnings from $25 to $50 to $100 a day. It's just $10 a month, and we have an affiliate program, which is another way that you can make money as well. You'll see the link pop up in the chat if you're watching the live episode. If you're watching the recorded episode, you'll see the link pop up on your screen or my social medias. Just slide in my DM. We'll get a conversation going on how you can get started.
Absolutely, man. And that sounds great. And Mr. BC, you got some new stuff going on, too. Why don't you let the people know what you got going on, my man?
Yep. I mean, obviously, you guys already know if you've been watching the show long enough. The missus and I got our small little business here in Central Florida. We got Brandes.media, your wedding and event photography, videography. We also do family formals, corporate events, stuff like that. We got you covered. Check out the portfolio at Brandes.media. Create those memories that last a lifetime. And if you're anybody you know is looking for some more voiceover work, some voiceover talent, everything, I just launched the new website a couple weeks ago, bcthebrand.com. I've got all my past resume experiences, portfolios, blogs, just kind of detailing a little bit of the journey along the ride and everything. Check it out. See if it's what you want. It's bcthebrand.com.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, man, there's also some other stuff we got to shout out here, man. And we have the Varsity Sports Nation, man. They've been with us, riding with us very strong, and they're a great company. It's your premier sports app. If you want live high school sports, if you want live college sports, they got you covered, man. And the best part is it's a convenient app that you can download on your iOS, your Android, your Roku TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, anywhere that you get your social medias, you can find Varsity Sports Nation. Great company. I'd highly recommend checking them out. You can also find our show on demand on there. So we recommend getting those guys, and they've always been a great help to us. Last but certainly not least, we got Millions, man. Millions is another up-and-coming sports entity. They have a lot of interviews and a lot of ways and for you to be able to get in touch with all your favorite athletes and different aspects of that. So it's a really great company, so we're really excited to be working with them. But, fellas, I don't know about you guys, but I am ready to get into something we haven't done yet. And you guys ready for this?
News from the world of sports.
Absolutely. Mr. BC, if I was alluding to it a little bit ago, hitting everybody with that voiceover work, man. It sounded professional. How do you feel out there?
Your voice sounded mad deep there, bro. All right. I see you.
Thank you.
You're not necessarily Barry White, you're more Larry White, but I mean, hey, it worked out, bro. So, anyways, man, this one's going to affect you a lot because this is your boys, and your boys are making a lot of moves this offseason, man. Mr. Paolo Banchero has signed a rookie contract, his rookie max extension contract worth around $239 million, which could be approximately equaling out, all once incentives are all done, $287 million. We got it up there on the screen for you right now, a little bit of a breakdown on how this whole thing could end up playing out for Mr. Banchero. Man, it is going to be a nice day to be in Orlando for him. I can tell you that right now. He's going to be having free drinks in the club all night, I feel like. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, he's
Mr.
buying.
BC, Your guy was a great player, man. He was number 1 overall pick to average 25.9 points and 7.5 rebounds, and he was pretty much the Orlando Magic's do-all, be-all guy. How do you feel about the Magic signing their star player to another extension?
This puts the cherry on top of an amazing offseason for the Orlando Magic for sure. I mean, obviously, if you've been keeping up the draft, getting Noah Penn to Jace Richardson, signing Tyus Jones in free agency, re-signing Mo Wagner to add some bench depth there, and then also to the trade for Desmond Bane. On top of this, signing your franchise cornerstone to a max extension. And for the deal they got for him, honestly, the way I think he's going to perform in the next 5 years, it's a great deal. So this is the perfect cap to an amazing offseason for Orlando.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. And I think Paolo is the perfect fit. And honestly, Orlando has been making a lot of moves this offseason, man. So I know you've been talking about it a little bit, but this one just adds on to they're going in the right direction, it feels like. It seems like that Orlando is finally, a destination for players to go. It seems like he's extremely excited to be playing for this team. And honestly, the East seems super wide open. I know everybody keeps on talking about that, but really the way Orlando is playing that is that they see the writing on the wall that, hey, we have a chance here actually to make some real noise. And I think it's awesome, man. Mr. G Mike, what's your thoughts on this one, man?
Smart move for Orlando, man. Locking him in for the next 5 years is probably going to be longer than that, but right now, just the next 5 years. He's an incredible talent. A lot of people treat him as an underrated player, which I have no idea why. I think, in my opinion, he's top 15 in the league right now. He can facilitate. He can grab boards. He can shoot the ball. He's got to work on his three-pointer a little bit, which I'm sure he's going to be doing this offseason, but he could play defense. He could do everything for an NBA team, and that's what he's doing for Orlando. That's why Orlando's surrounding everybody around him right now. They brought in Bane. Wagner is doing his thing with Franz right there. They just re-signed Wagner's brother. It's gonna be great for them, and I think Orlando's on the rise. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. So now they just need their offense to improve that much more, and which it did, bringing in Bane. He's gonna be a clear-cut shooter for them. And dude, I think Orlando can make a run, man. I think they can get to the Eastern Conference Finals if they really put it together and they get that chemistry going on offense, because on defense it's already there. You saw it against the Boston Celtics. They were playing great defense, but they just couldn't score because it was just Pablo and Franz. No one else was helping. Now you got Bane. Now you got some other pieces that maybe you're going to trade for and stuff. They just got Tyus Jones, and he's another playmaker as well. They don't need Pablo to bring down the ball no more. Tyus Jones can do that, and Pablo can play on the post like he usually does, where, in my opinion, no one can cover him. I think he'll score on anybody. So I think it's a good move for the Orlando Magic to sign him there. And obviously, well-deserved for Pablo, one of the best players in the league.
BC, got any other thoughts on this one, man? This is your guys, your boys, your team, man. Yeah, I know you probably feel excited, man.
No, I mean, I'm absolutely loving the decision. Like, I love the re-signing. I love all the moves that have been made. And then I also, though, too, love the fact that all the free agency signings just blend together, make it really good. And I'm excited. Orlando is finally kind of changing the trajectory up from how they usually do business. They're changing things up from how they've usually drafted, how they've signed players. They're going not just based off of best player available, but also, too, in terms of need as well, which is exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like Orlando in the past has, Orlando would have taken a Paolo and found a way to either lowball him or allow him to walk. And that seems like what they do is they either surround him with nothing or they get a guy and then they build him up and then they let him walk. And so I'm glad to finally see that maybe they're finally starting to get some players that want to stick around Orlando. It's a great city. It's every time you go to Orlando, it's getting bigger every time you go. So I just think overall Orlando sports is just it's on the rise right now, man. And let's try to get that baseball team going down there. What do you think?
Right.
Soon. I think that's going to happen soon. I think they'll make a team soon.
We'll find out.
Yeah, that's definitely a TBD for right there. Well, that's not the only news we got going on from the NBA, and it's not trying to be outdone at all here, man. We have another signing here, fresh off of that NBA championship. Chet Holmgren decides to sign that rookie contract deal as well, $250 million for 5 years. Woo, my man My man, that's a lot of money. Jesus Christ, man. These guys are so young making this amount of money. It's just insane anymore, man. If you didn't know, Chet Holmgren averaged 15 points a game, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and shot 49% from the field. So that's pretty good shooting, actually, for a big man. G-Mike, you like Chet Holmgren or what?
Yeah, man. I think it's great for both sides. OKC just won a championship right now. And one of the reasons for that is because of Chet Holmgren. His rebounding, his defensive capability in the paint, his 3-point shooting at times. He could score. He could put like 15, 20 points per game. But he's just a great asset for that team. They know that they need him for sure. And with Chet, he wants to stay around a team that's successful. And like I said, they just won a chip. He's gonna want to win more chips. And those are his brothers that he's playing around with. He's playing with one of the best players in the NBA right now, MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And just putting those two pieces together is great for the long run. It's good for OKC to sign him, give him this extension, and then it's just smart for Chet to stay around OKC because they're going to have a lot of success in the next upcoming years.
Yeah, I agree. And OKC is a lot like Orlando in the aspect of that it's a young nucleus that's gelling together. Now the next thing they're working on is was it Jalen Warren? I guess not Jalen Warren. Excuse me. Yeah, thank you. They're working on his deal next, and I'm sure he's probably going to want to sign as well. And so that's seems like a good thing for the NBA right now is that it's not anybody ring chasing and jumping around. They a lot of these guys can see the writing on the wall that, hey, why do I want to mess up a good thing I have going on here just to make some more money somewhere? And granted, they're making a lot of damn money to begin with, so I think it's a smart thing for these guys to stick around. You build up chemistry and you build up a true legacy. If you stick around with teams, you got the legends, Dirk, and you got Kobe, and some of these guys they played Wade. They're no synonymous with the teteam. And Chet's young enough that maybe that's how they're going to do it. SGA, Chet, and then they got the rest of the guys that seem like they're going to stick around as well. BC, do you like the signing for the Oklahoma City Thunder?
No, I love it. And again, just shouting out the class of 2022 right there for the NBA draft. The rich get richer in this. Chet's been living up to his end of the bargain on both ends of the floor. Obviously, he's been doing a great job as a stretch big, but then what he contributes as well on the defensive end is invaluable to OKC, especially with what they do on defense. We talk about how great their Orlando Magic's defense is, but OKC is probably, if I had to pick any team better, it would probably be them. Their ability to lock down with Shai, which we'll talk about in a sec, on the perimeter, and then you also combine that with Chet's great interior help defense, it's invaluable. And I do love seeing both of these small market teams, air quote, either winning the championship, but then also still, and then the other team that's being competitive and making moves to get to the championship. Honestly, it's a little early right now, but if everything on paper goes the way it is next season, I would not be surprised if these two teams were in the NBA Finals next year. Just saying, way too early prediction, but it's an amazing move by both teams, and one is making a move to keep going, keep building on what they have. The other is to take that next step, and it's exciting.
Dude, OKC tried to trade up in the top 10 in the NBA draft. They try to trade up and try to get in there to try to get another player because they have so many damn picks this year and next year and the year after that. Now your star player, the NBA MVP, SGA, takes a pay cut because he left a lot of money on the table that he could have gotten, but he's like, yo, you know what? I want to have my boys around me that just helped me win. Let me help spread that money to Chet, J-Dub, and the other guys so we could all stay together and maybe try to win 2 or 3 more chips. So it's just OKC's on the right path. They're on the path of winning. Like they're not just trying to do one and done. No, they're trying to be a dynasty, really.
Yep.
Yeah, and speaking of which, thanks for checking in as well. And we got a comment going out there saying OKC about to be a dynasty, and that's what the writing on the wall is right now too. But I mean, if you remember, also we kept on saying the same thing about Boston, and it just takes one injury, and Boston fell apart. Now Boston's rebuilding and stuff. I think OKC is a little bit different from how Boston was. Their contracts aren't as bad as what Boston's were. Boston kind of put themselves in a cap hell a little bit, and Boston's smart enough to make some moves to be able to get out of that. And especially this is the right year to do it, especially with Tatum out. They're probably going to be like a second-round team maybe next year. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, injuries can play a lot of things in there. But OKC, they add all these young players, and they keep on building up. So I think that OKC, it's clearly the trajectory is on a is on building a dynasty. Do you guys think that's a little bit too early to start calling them a dynasty? It's only been 1 year that they did it. They've been to the playoffs a few times. Is it too early to start, picking them as the dynasty team? BC, what do you think?
I would say, typically when it comes to dynasties, I want to see multiple seasons of success. Even repeat, I think, is a bit too early to call a dynasty. I think you need to give it like a good 5-year period and then say, have they won at least 3 out of the 5? Then I could say, yeah, you could call that team a dynasty. Like, I would say the last big dynasty in the NBA probably has to have been the late 2010s Warriors, like mid to late 2010s. And then, the Heatles, the San Antonio Spurs, they've been pretty much a dynasty over 20, 30 years. But yeah, let's pump the brakes on the dynasty talk. They're on the right track. They had one of the most dominant seasons in NBA history. And if they keep winning rings like that, the dynasty talks are going to be a little hard to stave off for sure.
Same question to you, Mike. What do you think, man?
I think they're on the road to it, man. They're all young. They're trying to keep their players around. They play amazing defense, and defense wins championships. SGA is just gonna get so much better. So is J-Dub. So is Chet. And if they keep surrounding them with some great role players who actually play their roles and don't do too much or too little, dude, I think they can get to that, man. Because like you look at the Spurs, right? In a sense, was the Spurs really a dynasty? Because they won in 99, then they won in 2004, and then they won again in 2014. So
2007 as well.
And 2007, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they won I think 5 from the 90s to the 2010s. So
I feel like a dynasty is like Chicago Bulls from 92 to 98. From Los Angeles Lakers from 2000 to 2003. Like the Philadelphia 76ers in the 80s before then right after the Lakers, and then the Boston Celtics. Like, I feel like those are dynasties. With the Spurs, it's like I understand why some people would call it that, but their championships were so spread out that it's tough for me to agree that it's a dynasty. But like, if OKC is able to back-to-back next year, maybe they lose the year after that, but then they go back and they win it again, and then next thing you know, they win it another back-to-back. I would consider that a dynasty.
So just for fun here though too. So we'll switch sports then, because they obviously the next big. They have a couple of sports right now going. You have the Tampa Bay Lightning, you have the Florida Panthers, and you have the Kansas City Chiefs. Mm-hmm. Are all 3 of those dynasties as well? Because a lot of people say that the dynasty for the Chiefs, they didn't complete. They didn't go 3 in a row, but they have gone to 3 of the last 4. I guess it was.
I would say it doesn't have to necessarily be 3 in a row, but just over a sustained period of time, and not just the team itself, but also too is the core the same. That's where I think for San Antonio you can say they're a dynasty, because it's Timmy, Manu, and Tony. Like those 3 plus Kawhi towards the end, David Robinson at the beginning. Those guys generally were that dynasty. Just like with the big 3 Heat, you could still classify them, I'd say, as a dynasty, because you win 2 out of 4 championships in 4 years. Like, that's an impressive run for sure. I want to see more over a prolonged period of time, not just 1 year. Like, they're on the road, like G Mike said, but let's see what they do next year. And then let's see what they do next 3-4 seasons. And then let's check back on it.
So you guys are all I think it's a little bit too early to start this, but they're on the right track. I think you can clearly see the writing on the wall that they're on the right track, but you guys aren't ready to say it's a dynasty yet. Like, it's
I think that they're driving in the highway, the exit comes up dynasty, and they're getting off on that exit right now.
Yep.
That's what I think does happen.
The only thing that stands in their way is unless there's like G Mike said, unless there's a major injury, or if just some team in the East just somehow comes in and figures out the plan to stop them, it's their league. Like, they are sitting pretty right now, because all of the other champions that we've seen in the last few years haven't been this dominant. Like the 22 Warriors, that was kind of like, you could say, the big 3, theirs last run. Milwaukee Bucks.
But that 2017.
Oh, yeah. I'm saying, though, like, in recent years. Like, I'm talking, like, since, like, the turn of the decade. And then you look at the Denver Nuggets. They had one good season with Jokic. Yes, they've been back and forth to conference finals and stuff, but it was really one season. So, but even those years weren't quite as dominant as what we've seen with OKC, just because of their sheer ability, their depth, and the fact that they really dominate on both sides of the floor.
Yeah. No, I get
Yeah,
what you.
well, I mean, it's good to be an OKC, and not just for winning championships, but if you're a gamer, you'll appreciate this. Mr. SGA is going to be officially gracing the NBA 2K26 cover. So not only did he get a contract extension, not only did he win MVP, he's a champion, and now he's going to be the champion of 2026 for the video game world. Do you guys feel like there is any curse or anything with this? Because it's weird how that Madden curse thing worked. Everybody gets super scared about it. Basketball, it seems like it doesn't really happen as much as it does in football. BC, how do you like this? You think it's a smart move for SGA? You like the call for who should get it?
Of course, it's a smart move for SGA. Like, shoot, if 2K called me up and said, "You want to be on the cover," and I might like me, I'm like, heck yeah, give me that extra money that comes with it. You're telling me like. There's a reason why he was happy taking the home.
You would have all Orlando Magic gear, from hat to glasses to bandana, just covering his face, jersey.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But honestly, like, there's a reason why he took the hometown discount though with OKC. He's making bank off of sponsorship deals now. He's got the 2K thing. As far as curses go, I don't believe in curses in general, but like, and, you know, yeah, at me on that one. But I feel like with football, it's a little bit easier to blame it on the Madden curse just because there tend to be more freak injuries in football than there are in basketball. So, but yeah, this one was a no-brainer. Like Steve was alluding to earlier, you know, NBA champion, NBA MVP, NBA Finals MVP, and scoring champion. Like, this was the guy to do it. If Jokic would have won the MVP, I could maybe see your argument then for, you know, a 4-time MVP being on the cover, but it's SGA's year. He deserved it.
I mean, Jokic being on the cover, man, doesn't really catch my attention.
Doesn't move the
needle for you. It's definitely
What if he was riding on a horse? What if he was riding on the horse instead of the
that'd be hilarious. That would be hilarious. Hey, but shout out to Melo too. They got a Melo edition. Shout out to Melo, man. He's been on the cover of NBA Live, NBA 2K, freaking there's like 4 different games that it's been from here to like 2000.
Yeah, college basketball. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
college basketball. That's right. It was college basketball, NBA 2K, NBA Live, and NBA Street Home Court. That's right.
Yeah,
4 games that he's been on. So shout out to him too. And then Angel Reese got it as well. So congrats to her. But definitely SGA deserves it, man. Like Steve alluded to, NBA champion, NBA MVP, NBA Finals MVP, NBA all first team. Like, this guy was just crazy this season, man. It was unbelievable to watch, and honestly, he well deserved on the NBA 2K cover athlete.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree. I think this one was the absolute best choice that he could have made this year. Just going off of the year, and it just happens to work out that he won the championship as well. So, you know, it makes it easy whenever you have all those accolades. And, you know, he's young and relates to the younger crowd. And I think SGA just seems like he's a really marketable guy. That he's already got a few other sponsorships going now. You'll probably see a lot more ads coming in, especially after winning the championship. But he just seems like a good dude on and off the court. He's well spoken, just does everything. Seems like he's really does everything right. It seems like for the most part. So really happy for SGA this year, and hopefully continue success, because we need good young players in the NBA that set good examples and play the game the right way. No matter what people say about the free throw stuff, that's not his problem. Fix the rules if you want to fix it. Otherwise, he's playing the game the way it should be played right now.
Yep.
All right. Well, we have another major move out of the NBA. And Mr. G, Mike, I'm going to have you take the lead on this one since you are our Heat aficionado.
Yes, sir.
Let the good people know what the MIA Heat did this couple days ago, my man.
They finally did something. Man, because, man, I've been praying, man, since the start of last season for us to do something, for Pat Riley to wake up out of his REM sleep or whatever the hell is going on, man. God, man. No lie, I thought he was senile for a little bit.
That's the fun.
Dude, man, Norman Powell traded from the Los Angeles Clippers to the Miami Heat for Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a second-round pick to the Utah Jazz. It was a 3-team trade. John Collins went to the Los Angeles Clippers, which, by the way, I thought that was a good pickup for them. You know, aside of the fact that they're losing scoring option, but I think they're going to try to gain that by when the Phoenix Suns buy out Bradley Beal. I think they're going to try and sign Bradley Beal. So that's why they let go of Norman Powell. But good rebounder for them. And John Collins coming off the bench. But for us, Norman Powell, great trade for us, man. I love this trade. We needed another scorer, another consistent scorer that can put up 15 to 20 points per game. Next to Hero, we're putting up 20 to 25 points per game. Hopefully, Bam is more aggressive on offense this year instead of being passive aggressive because he took a step back on offense, in my opinion. He is another one that can drop 20 to 25 points per game. And then if Andrew Wiggins, a lot of people want to knock on how he played with us off the trade of Jimmy Butler going over there to Golden State and him coming over to the Miami Heat. But he was going through a lot of things at home with his newborn baby and all that. So a lot of people like to say that shouldn't really be an excuse, but everyone has their own problems going on at home and in your head that it messes you up with work and messes you up with your social life and messes you up with anything that you really got going on that you're trying to focus on. So these NBA players are the same, bro. If you got stuff going on at home, it's going to mess up your game. It's going to mess up your game in practice, in the games, and when the time really gets rough and the team needs you to do what you need to do to win, it's going to make you mess up. So I think with Andrew Wiggins, clearing his mind, having a good offseason with the Miami Heat, and actually coming together to try to get this chemistry going, Norman Powell, if he starts and Andrew Wiggins comes off the bench, I like it even more. But if Norman Powell comes off the bench with the second unit, that we really needed someone to come off the second unit to score for us, is going to be great for us, man. I'm not saying that we're going to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, the NBA Finals, or nothing like that, but I do love the trade for us, and I think instead of being in the play-in next season, I think we'll probably get the 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
BC, you got any thoughts on the trade, man?
I was going to say it's just making moves in the right directions. And even if I think it shows that even if it's not necessarily the big blockbuster move, it's still something that sets you up in.
That's my brother.
Oh, gosh, man. Anyway, even if it's not necessarily the big blockbuster move, it still sets your team up for success. And it can be one of those moves where, look at us last year, bringing in KCP. Everyone was thinking it was going to be a great move. Didn't have a great season, but we ended up using him as part of the Desmond Bain trade. So, it could be one of those things where even if it's not a high-impact signing this year, you never know what it could be by next year's end.
But real quick, before you go, Steve, if you guys don't know, we have created $69 million in cap space for next season, the 2026 NBA free agency. And if you're telling me that that's not going to help us next year,
well, according to your brother here, you guys won't see the playoffs for 5 years, so you might need to get yourself in check here, brother.
How much you want to bet on that?
Oh, shoot.
I'm a gambling man.
He knows you all
Hey,
too
you
well.
know what? You got a Telegram channel, too. Did you tell the good people about that?
Yeah, I already did. I'll tell them again at the end of the show.
There we go.
Absolutely, man.
But
I like the move all around, really. It's kind of crazy to think that Kevin Love is still getting traded for in the league. Honestly,
Yep.
That's I think the most mind blowing thing out of this whole thing. I've always been a Kevin Love fan, but if you could have told me that he played for the Heat, I guarantee you probably 50% of the people that watch NBA didn't even know where he played. So let alone the guy's still out there. But hey, that's what makes the NBA great, man. He can still make a lot of money being on the bench and coming off and making a couple shots, man. So if there's a kid out there, anybody listening that can shoot the ball, keep on shooting because you could be Kevin Love one day,
Yep.
I think they're gonna buy him out, and I think he might go to the Lakers.
That'd be fun. Put him back, LeBron. I could see that one mucking out maybe or something.
So he gets traded to Dallas, and then you guys get LeBron and Kevin Love and trade Cooper Flag away. Apparently, that's.
Come on now! Why are you gonna put that bad juju on us now?
I'm just reading the tea leaves, as the youth say.
Shit. Yeah. Speaking of old Cooper Flag, though, did you guys see that that NBA summer league game was the highest tickets in summer league history? It was Bronny and Cooper Flag.
Yeah.
Of course.
Did you see the Caitlin Clark versus Paige?
Paige Becker.
Yeah. So did you see that they had to move the game to the Mavericks arena?
I didn't. No, I didn't get a chance to see that.
Man.
Yeah. Instead of in the Dallas Wings arena, they went to the Mavericks arena because it was
Nice.
sold out, and they had to sell way more tickets.
That's
See,
awesome, man. Good for them. Bringing in a whole bunch of extra fans and stuff. And apparently, to the rest of the WNBA, they don't like her. So
apparently, she's the number 9 shooting guard.
Right?
She's the number 9th guard. Apparently,
jealousy is an ugly thing. That's all I'll say. Be happy that your league's succeeding. Don't be mad that somebody else just happens to be the most popular player. Like, I'm pretty sure Paolo Banchero is not mad that LeBron James or Jokic or these guys are the face of the league because he's doing pretty good right now. Just saying.
That's a whole different conversation for not on podcast level.
But
I would not start right now. So let's move on to the next segment.
Man. We've been doing all right with getting subscribers, and please like and subscribe, and we will not go through that one for you guys on here. But G Mike, you got anything extra for anything you want to wrap up with the Heat or anything like that? Because we're going to move on to our big breakdown segments, man.
Nah, man, just a great trade. We're getting Norman Powell. It makes us a little bit better. I don't think it's a whole lot better, but like you mentioned earlier, the East is wide open. So let's see what's up. What's up.
No, I totally agree with you guys. And so we're going to go ahead and get – appreciate you checking in, man, because usually it's hard to get G Mike flustered over here. Not saying something or something. So.
Hater. I'm always saying something.
Well, we're going to go ahead and get checked in on our next segment. And it's a segment we started last year, and it went pretty well. So without further ado, this is our NFC East break.
It's the division breakdown of the NFC East.
Yeah, man. So if you guys do not remember, we have the world champions coming out of that NFC East, and that is Philadelphia Eagles. Man, they had 14-3 last year. And, man, they made it all the way to the Super Bowl, if you didn't already know that one. So a little bit of rundown of the 2024 season. They were 187.9 yards per game. That's 29th in the league. They averaged 179.3 rushing yards a game, which was good for second in the league, which is extremely surprising. Who the hell ran more than the damn Philadelphia Eagles did? I don't know who the hell did, but I thought that was kind of wild when I saw that because just how much was good. I only thought I could think of maybe the 49ers possibly or something maybe. I'm not sure, but either way, it was pretty amazing season for them though. They were 27.2 points per 27.2 points for, which is seventh in the league, and 17.8 points against, which is good for second in the league. Philadelphia, man, they had some good offseason too. They ended up in their draft. They ended up picking Jahad Campbell out of Alabama, the linebacker, and their second round pick was Andrew Matuba. I butchered that one. Matuba out of Texas, and they picked up another defensive tackle. And if you look at their draft, they did not pick up one. They only picked up one offensive player out of here, except their tackles. So they didn't pick up any kind of wide receivers or anything like that because they got a pretty damn good offense going right now.
Yep.
Mr. G Mike, I know that's going to kill you and pain you to talk about these guys, but let's go ahead and get started with this, man. The Philadelphia Eagles. How do you like it now? What do you think they did last year compared to this year? And can they continue it again?
They can, for sure. I mean, their offense is great. It sucks to say, but their offense is great, and it hasn't really changed up that much. Saquon's going to be Saquon. Jalen Hurts is a great game-managing quarterback, but he showed a lot during the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. He showed that he can stunt out there. A.J. Brown's still around. Devontae Smith is still around. The O-line is still probably top 10 in the league. Their defense is still great as well. They did lose some players, but they got some in return. Their drafting is always great for the last, 3-4 years.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah, so to me, they can make a run at back-to-back, and especially in a little NFC weak conference. But their division, they got the Commanders in there, which the Commanders you saw last year, they were doing great. So they got some stuff there that can maybe kick them out of the playoffs. I would say maybe they get a first one bye week. I would see them getting the first seed. But other than that, man, their team hasn't really changed, and they just remain on the top of the NFC.
What about you, BC, man? We know that the Eagles obviously had a great defense and offense. And we were talking about Oklahoma City a couple minutes ago, as well as like defense and offense. If that correlates, then most of the time you end up getting championships. What do you see? Do you think that what they drafted a whole bunch of more defense again if they already didn't have a stout defense? What do you think the Eagles are heading the right direction, or are they being a little bit too weak, just not upping up on their offense?
I think that they did. I don't think that it was a problem that they didn't draft any, not that many offensive players. I think that they solidified positions that are proving to be more and more important as, we're finding out later on in the season. Like obviously getting a couple of defensive tackles, getting some offensive linemen as well. Like solidifying your trenches is such an underrated thing. And that was one of the things, if you could point to as a little bit of a weakness, they didn't quite have the push that they usually did with their offensive line from previous seasons. Obviously losing Jason Kelce to retirement doesn't help with that. But they made some right moves by bringing in, Jahad Campbell on defense and middle linebacker / edge. I was really high on him in the draft. I thought the Bucs should have went for him when he was available at the time. But he's going to be a great fit, I think, next to Zach Bond and that defense. The fact that you can line him up in the middle, you can line him up on edge, really use him as a Swiss Army knife in the front seven. That's going to be, I think, a very underrated signing / draft move right there. And then obviously though too, obviously losing guys like Darius Slay, James Bradbury, everything, like losing some cornerback depth there hurts. But again, they found ways to still add depth at all of those positions in the draft and in free agency. So rich get richer.
Getting rid of the old and coming in with the new.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with what you're saying too. And and I felt like Campbell was such a Eagles draft pick. Like that one, of course, he landed to them. He fell in the draft. Most people had him as one of the a top 10 pick in the last year's draft, and he just falls to the Eagles. And like you're saying, to the rich get richer. And like you were just talking about it too, Zach Bond had 151 tackles by himself, and now you're going to add another guy that could easily help him out and get some more tackles in there. It's going to be tough for anybody really to be able to stop those guys. And that offensive line they got drafted a couple of backups in this year's draft, but that offensive line is so stout and so meaty. It's just a bad offensive line, man. They're just a bunch of bad dudes that win in the trenches for you. It's pretty remarkable what the Eagles were able to do, considering that Jalen Hurts only passed for 2,903 yards and they won the Super Bowl. In an era where everybody is throwing, Eagles went old school, beat you up on defense, and ran the hell out of the ball. Jalen Hurts also, he didn't lose you any games, and that's a pretty important thing, I think, as well. Overall, he only had 5 interceptions. Granted, he only threw the ball not as much as most of the people, but only 5 interceptions. So it doesn't necessarily matter. He's only throwing 2,903 yards or whatever that was, whenever you're not turning over the ball and you're just letting the clock keep on going because they're running the ball so much. And he's a threat as well. He's almost a running back. You almost have 2 running backs out there whenever you have Jalen Hurts run whatever option that he needs to run. So I think that it's I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool what the Eagles have done. I think they're pretty smart. I think that they are just keep on getting richer, like you were saying as well, man. I don't see any really weaknesses in their game going forward. Maybe that their wide receiver core is still really good. You got Devontae Smith and you got AJ Brown. I honestly thought Jahan Dotson was going to be a lot more of a factor whenever he got traded over there, but I mean, he barely did anything out there, and they still were able to dominate and win. Just goes back to how impressive Saquon Barkley was. And if you need to remember, 2,005 rushing yards in the season. Yes. Hell of a season for Saquon Barkley. Yeah, it was an insane year for the Eagles and everything they were able to accomplish. You guys got anything else for the Eagles' outlook on the season?
Just what you were mentioning before. I mean, I'm looking at the 2024 postseason stats, and it's exactly what you said. They ran the ball and they focused on defense and not letting the other team run the ball. Yeah, the other teams they had 1,071 yards, passing yards in total, but when it comes to their rushing yards, they had 818, and their opponents only had 366 rushing yards against them. So they were just playing in the trenches for sure. They were playing old school football. Run the ball, and stop the run. Yep.
Yeah, it goes back to that old school mentality, man. It defense and run, and it works. And that still goes back to, it cracks me up. That was also going into that year too that we were talking about running backs overrated. There are a dime a dozen. Anybody out there? Enter Saquon Barkley with his 2,005 yards. Ergo, Derrick Henry last year too, almost matching him as well. Two guys almost going over 2,000 yards in the same season is just ridiculous. And the running backs were dead apparently, So I just think they went back old school.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like I thought I was going to say about it. Yeah, it might be a bit too early of a prediction to kind of like throw out or whatever. I know we're going to probably save our predictions a little bit closer to the week, but again, they're my early favorites for the NFC for a reason.
Yeah, I think so too, man. It's tough to bet against them, especially the Super Bowl champs. It's kind of wild too if you go back to the Eagles and the history too. Is Fire Sirianni. I think we had it on here. Who was going to get fired first, Doug Peterson or Nick Sirianni? We were talking about it big time last year, and it turns out maybe they made the right decision and they ended up giving him an extension as well. So the Eagles, it's going to be interesting as well because they also lost their offensive coordinator again. They ended up going out to the New Orleans Saints. So that's going to be interesting to see how they rebound off of that. The last time that happened for the Eagles was when Shane Steichens and Gannon left, and their offense was a little bit shaky. But I think they got a good system going, and I think they understand that what they got to do and who they are. They're a big, bulky, badass team. To be honest with you,
yeah,
I think that's just who they are. All right, so we're going to move on to the next in line in the NFC East, and we're going to move on to those Washington Commanders, man. And they were definitely a surprise team this year. I remember we were all making our predictions, and I thought that they were going to be pretty good. I thought that Jaden Daniels was going to be really damn good. I didn't expect this one, and if anybody said that they really expected it, besides being a diehard fan, they were full of crap, and no one ever saw this team coming out. They did. They were pretty damn close to knocking off those Eagles to go to the Super Bowl. If they would have done that, Jaden Daniels might have went down as the greatest rookie season of all time if he were able to pull that one off. But if you need to go back to the season, the Washington Commanders finished at a record of 12-5. They also finished the year at 215.6 passing yards, 154.1 rushing yards, which is third in the league. 28.5 points for, which was fifth in the league. Points against, 23 even at 18th in the league. Forgot to say it before, but the passing yards was 17th in the league. All right, BC, you're up first right now. You're up on top, man. Wow, Washington, what a season it was for them, man. What's your thoughts on them?
No, I don't think that there's really anything else that we can say other than like biggest shock of the season. Obviously we knew Jaden Daniels was going to be, I thought he was going to be the best rookie in the draft class. I don't know about anybody else, just his athleticism that he had, his skill, his ability, and then just the way the team kind of molded around him, kind of came around him, and just they all unified together, especially after the week 1 loss in Tampa. They surprised the heck out of me. Like, I was not expecting, and they still have holes, don't get me wrong. Like, the defense still has some holes in the secondary for sure. But they were able to plug those this past season, getting Trey Amos in the draft. In the draft. And then, but just on top of that too, the way that they play together, they were able to get some revenge on the Bucs in the postseason game. They grew up quick. So that's where I think that a lot of those players gelled together, matured together. And then just in the offseason, being able to bring in several players like Deebo Samuel, Michael Gallup, Nate Herbig, just really solidifying certain positions on offense, trying to fill in defense as well. And then just a little trivia, because, being Bucs fan and everything, former Buck Matt Gay, highest paid kicker in the NFL. Now they've got him on the team. Obviously, kicking almost cost them a shot at moving on to the next round in the postseason. So showing up that with a certified Pro Bowl talent there will help. They've made all the right moves, and now it's just going from 12-5 and taking the next step in wildcard berth, and taking the next step to division champion and upsetting the Eagles.
Yeah, and before you go real quick, G-Mike, too, you can't forget who they also made the trade for as well. But you already mentioned Deebo Samuel, but they also got Larry Tunsil as well coming in over there, man. So that's a major move. And Larry Tunsil's a great tackle that's going to really affect that line for him and really help out. And he's a veteran that knows how to play. And Jaden Daniels seems like a very receptive, coachable player that wants to learn and always get better. So I think having a veteran that's been around the league for a long time, that's played with some real talent, that's going to help him out. G-Mike, man, you're up, man. I know it's not your Cowboys, but still.
I like the moves that they did on offense for sure. I think they've improved on the receiver side, the offensive line side. Jaden Daniels is going to keep on getting better and better. You could tell that he's an intelligent quarterback the reason why he won Heisman. There's a reason why he got his team to the NFC Conference Finals and NFC Conference Championship. I'm sorry, and I'm not worried about their offense at all, right? But when I look at their defense, it's like, to me, they didn't get any better, and that was their problem throughout the season and in the postseason. Like, I'm looking at the postseason stats here. 531 rushing yards their opponents had. 767 passing yards their opponents had. Their opponents had 5 sacks. They only had 4 sacks. Their opponents had 14 touchdowns. They only had 10 touchdowns. Obviously, that's with the offense. But if your defense is not helping out your offense to work, right, you're just gonna think that, okay, our offense is gonna shoot it out with their offense, and we'll see who wins at the end of the game, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Hawks are what they were doing all season.
Yep.
If you got defense like that, you can't really expect to get back to where you were. Their defense didn't improve, so I don't expect for them to get back to the NFC Championship game, honestly. Maybe wild card, because I do believe that their offense is that capable, but teams are going to know how Jaden Daniels is going to play now. Again, he is an intelligent quarterback, but defenses are also intelligent as well as a whole. So they're going to know how he's going to play. They're going to see more of his tendencies and stuff like that. And when you got a team that is not good at running the ball at all, it's going to be tough for Jaden to really do as much work as he was his rookie season with all the knowledge that the defenses are going to know with him. So I think they need to improve more on their rushing attack, and they need to improve on their defense when it comes to passing and rushing, for sure.
Yeah, no, and it's not great whenever your quarterback is your leading rusher on the team with 891 yards. So I think they should have addressed that a little bit more. Something I think that is a big question right now for the Washington Commanders is Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is pretty upset with the team at the moment. He wants to get paid, which he rightfully so. Terry McLaurin coming off his best season, had 1,096 yards. He was their main weapon on offense besides Jaden Daniels. Hasn't really shown up to camp and has made it pretty clear that he wants to get paid. Terry McLaurin, I think, deserves to get paid. He's been a loyal guy for pretty much his entire career, and he's getting at that age where I think he sees the writing on the wall that this is probably going to be his last major contract. So I think they need to figure that out before this goes any further. They did pick up Deebo Samuel, like we were saying as well, but let's face it, Deebo Samuel, the way his style of play, he's constantly been hurt in his entire career. He hardly ever finishes the season if he ever has at all, really. So I think it's extremely important, especially for the development of Jaden Daniels, to have his dominant number one wide receiver. Let's face it, too. You got Zach Ertz, who isn't getting any younger, still put up some really good numbers for his age for a tight end. They got Ben Sinnott there as well. But having said that, you want Terry McLaurin in the room. Terry McLaurin is one of their unquestioned leaders. If you see any kind of social media posts or anything like that of the Commanders, it's almost always Terry McLaurin has something to do with it, or he's giving the locker room speech. He's your rah-rah guy, and he keeps the gel together, and he keeps the team together. So I think that the Commanders need to figure that out with him, get him paid, even if it's a short, large-term contract, of 2 to 3 years, because he is reaching 30, I believe, this season. So if you want to get him to 33, but giving the man his money, he's helped out the team as well, and he just has coming off his best career here. So there should be no reason why I don't feel like that he shouldn't be getting paid. Now, he's not going to get paid like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, but, make him fourth or fifth best guy. Show the man some respect, man. Give him a high money, short-term deal. I think that's what they need to do for him to make sure that's squared up, because you don't want to see that guy walk out, and you don't want to see him playing for another team as well.
No, if they let him go, they're going to digress 100%.
Yeah.
I totally agree. So I think that Terry McLaurin is extremely important. Now, I'm excited to see what this would look like, too, with Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel. They're a little bit different type of guys. Deebo is such power, such aggression, and Terry McLaurin's one of the finesse, the route runner. Terry McLaurin's one of the
crazy hands.
Yeah, he's great wide receiver. So I think that's going to be an interesting dynamic duo. I would love to see them possibly get maybe a number 3 as far as wide receiver, or even maybe like an Amari Cooper that's out there, something like that. Maybe another veteran. Amari Cooper's not raising the needle anymore, but I think if you add Amari Cooper to that offense, I think that'd be pretty something to mess with there too. So I'd like to see Washington maybe get one more wide receiver, at least for Jaden Daniels. But Zach Ertz is still playing pretty well as well. So I think Washington's heading in the right direction. I just think they have a little bit more holes. And I don't like you. I kind of agree with what you're saying. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see them going back to the NFC Championship game. I think that they blew away expectations. Pretty much everybody's expectations in that aspect. I can see them definitely being a playoff team or being very much in contention, but I think it's going to be a little bit difficult. I think they're about a year too early for their expectations where they're at. I think they're 1 or 2 players away from being actually legitimately elite. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think they're an exciting team though. It's awesome whenever you have a rookie come in that can do what Jaden Daniels did and really show the fact that he could be one of the faces of the league here in a couple of years. So. Shout out to Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. I love Dan Quinn out there. Happy that he got a second chance at coaching, and it seems like it worked out pretty well. Everybody seems to like him out there, and Cliff Kingsbury seems like he's doing pretty well with him as well. So I think the Commanders are going to be fun to watch. So moving on to Mr. G Mike's team, America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, man. The Dallas Cowboys finished the season at a record of 7-10. They were 11th in the league at passing yards at 227.2. They were 100.3 rushing yards per game, which put them at 27th. They were 20.6 points for, which is 21st. They were 27.5, which was 31st in the league. And they drafted their first round pick, number 12. They drafted Tyler Booker, and they got an edge rusher out of Boston College in the second round. Mr. G Mike, how do you feel about your Cowboys?
Just like the Commanders, man, our defense is just trash. I mean, our secondary was horrible last season. Our rush defense was pretty bad as well. And we made a little bit of improvement in both categories, but it's not enough for me to think that we could even make it to a wild card game. Our offense did improve when it comes to the receiver room. We're getting George Pickens. I think that was a good trade. Another receiver for Dak to throw to for sure. But our running back room is cocky. It's not good. We got 3 running backs that we're gonna try and rely on. That honestly, that I don't even have a lot of upside for at all. I think there is just gonna be horrible with our rushing yards, just like it was last season. We only had 1,700 rushing yards. I mean, you would think that was good if that's coming from one running back, but it wasn't. It was coming from 3 running backs. So, just trash for sure. My brother there laughing at me. The front office.
Anytime you bring up the Cowboys, somebody's gonna say they suck, man.
100%. It is what it is. But we do. I mean, right now we do suck. I don't see us getting out of our division, even getting second place. I think the Commanders can take that because of their offense. I think we still need to improve on our running backs. When it comes to our passing, I think we'll be straight. I think we'll be good in passing. We had 4,000 total passing yards. That's up there with the top half of the league for sure. With a lot of playoff teams too. But our secondary, our defensive rush attack is horrible. Our pass and rush attack is horrible when it comes to defense. And then we just need more rush attack on offense.
Let me ask you this here too: are you nervous about Dak coming in this season? He just recently was quoted by saying, "I'm as healthy as I'm going to be." In the offseason. Are you kind of nervous about Dak's health, or do you feel like he's going to be okay? Training camp's he's gonna work out his kinks out in training camp. That was a pretty severe injury he had last year. I believe he tore the hamstring off the bone completely. So that's a pretty severe injury. Are you nervous about Dak going into it?
Nah, I'm not nervous about that at all. What I'm nervous about is the defense. I think we're gonna get most teams are gonna score 24 more on us, honestly. Because I think our secondary can't cover. I'm trying not to curse no more on this, so let me just keep it PG. But they can't cover anybody, and then our rush defense, we can't stop anybody from rushing the ball on us. And especially when we got the Philadelphia Eagles in our division with Saquon Barkley running up the ball and so many yards and so many touchdowns, it's going to be tough for us to get some wins. Even in our division, it's going to be tough for us to get wins. And then with other teams that we play. They always give the Dallas Cowboys some hard teams to play. So we probably don't have the toughest schedule, but we're right there in the top 10, top 15 for sure.
Yeah.
All right, BC, man. G Mike just unloaded a lot for the Cowboys, man. What you got? What's your thoughts on the Cowboys this year?
I mean, I usually like to try to be the optimist most of the time with these situations, but yeah, I mean, it's just another rough year. It's just a weird phase for Dallas for sure. And I mean, I will say this: it's sad for me to say as somebody who used to play offensive line, seeing the great Zach Martin, probably the last great Cowboys offensive lineman from those like 2010 squads, has finally called it a career. Like,
Crazy.
happy retirement to him. One of best of this generation for sure. But again, that one of the biggest things that always I know for sure helped the Dallas offense was that offensive line, and losing Zach Martin is definitely a huge blow to them too. Like, yes, you were able to make some good draft decisions, getting Tyler Booker in the first round. I thought getting Donovan Ezraku. What's up?
That I love that pick, our first pick.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like getting Donovan Ezraku as well in the second round though too. I think he was an underrated player. I think that he's going to end up being a steal at that pick. But yeah, and even getting Siobhan Revel out of East Carolina too in the third, another guy that I think fell to you guys again, another potential steal. There's just a lot of holes in Dallas for sure, and it's one of those off seasons where there's not really much you can do other than just keep taking baby steps to kind of get towards that next level for you guys. And it's one of the things that sucks about being bad but not bad enough to really get like super high draft picks. But Bucks were in that situation a few years ago, or a few years before Brady came into town, and all they need is just that one guy. So that, I would say maybe Dak's not necessarily that guy for Dallas, but never know.
So I'll guess I'll be the optimistic one in the room in this one, man. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be as bad as it seems like on paper.
Please,
I think their offense is going to be exciting to watch. I think they're going to be really good this year. You know what they remind me of? They remind me a lot of the way it's on paper right now. The way their defense looks is they remind me of the Cincinnati Bengals of last year. Couldn't stop anybody, but they're going to put up 35 points. And I think with the adding George Pickens and having CeeDee Lamb, I think you're right. I think Dak he may not be as mobile, but I don't think Dak's ever had this many good receivers at one time out there. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. Schottenheimer did have some really good success with Dak Prescott, so I'm interested to see how they make the passing game work with that. I think the defense, you're right, I think is going to be one of their big issues, and I've been saying this for a while too. I'm surprised they didn't go after any of the other running backs that were available. We'll see how it goes. Javonte Williams was supposed to be the man back a couple of years ago. He just constantly kept on getting hurt. This will be, I believe, his first year, and that he's actually going in pretty much healthy. All the other years, they kept on getting rushed back. He had some pretty significant injuries. So we'll see how that actually goes for the Cowboys. Blue out of Texas is a pretty decent back as well. I was kind of surprised out of all the major running back class they had this year in the draft that they did not go after more of a higher profile. They could have got was it Arian Hampton? They could have got him in the 12th pick. They could have gotten a couple other guys before they landed on Blue. They waited they hit that lull where a lot of the top tier guys were kind of taken. They could have got Judkins. There's a lot of guys they could have taken that were higher named guys for the running back room instead of settling for Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, and Blue. Hell, you could have kept Rico Dowdle, who had a pretty good season. Why they let him go, I don't really know. So that one's kind of puzzling to me. But they remind me almost exactly how Cincinnati was last season, where they could score with anybody, they can put up points. Defense is going to be a major issue for the Cowboys, let's face it. Maybe some of these guys can step up, but I do think that's going to be their major downfall. But I don't think there's going to be as doom and gloom as it sounds and how it looks on paper per se. But I do agree with what you're saying. The defense is going to be their major Achilles heel, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully the young dudes can step up and, they actually show some like Jaden Daniels type season. But anything's possible. Tough. With defense is tough. It's way tough. Well, especially you don't have the ball in your hands. Jaden Daniels had the ball in his hands, so he was able to control his own destiny to a certain extent. But
keep an eye out for Ezraku, though. I think that with Micah Parsons on the other side, he'll command a lot of attention. So I could see, honestly, Donovan being one of those guys that could get 10-plus sacks and being a defensive rookie of the year candidate.
But the thing is, we're not going to be able to stop anybody from scoring when it comes to passing the ball. Like, we're not going to be able to do anything. Like, Trayvon Diggs is probably not going to come back till Christmas or Thanksgiving. We got to rely on Darian Bland. We still have – we let go of Javon Curse. We're still trying to get another corner because there's rumors that we were trying to – we were even trying to go for Jalen Ramsey. That didn't happen, obviously, because our front office is cocky and they don't do anything. And then we're trying to get back Stephon Gilmore, but the guy's like 35,000 years old. So why would we go for him unless you're trying to bring him in for some veteran presence so they could teach the young cats, which I understand there. But still, man, like our secondary is going to be trash. I think our defensive line is going to be a little bit better, but I don't think it's going to be that much better.
Yeah.
It's gonna be it's that's what makes the NFL so much fun is that it's so unpredictable and you never know what can happen. One of these guys can all of a sudden, like you were saying, Azaraku can make the step up and him and Parsons just wrecking machines and it won't be as bad. I do love the offense for the Cowboys. It's just going to be a long season on the opposite end of the ball, in my opinion. All right, well, we have one more team left in the division, and that is Big Blue, the New York Giants. New York Giants finished the season at 3-14. They had 189.9 passing yards per game, which is 28th in the league. 104.9 rushing yards, which was good for 23rd in the league. Points for were 16.1, which was 31st in the league. Points against was 24.4, which was 21st in the league. They did make had the number 3 pick. They drafted Abdul Carter. They made a move and got Jackson Dart, the quarterback out of Ole Miss. And one of my favorite picks, which I'm interested to see how they're going to do it. They ended up with Cam Skattebo, but that's later on in the draft. But I absolutely love Cam Skattebo. I think he's going to become extremely fun to watch if they're able to use them. Do you guys have any kind of hope, any kind of outlook, any kind of thoughts? They got Russell Wilson coming in. I got Russell Wilson's going to finish out the season. Russell Wilson seems pretty happy to be in New York. He seems excited.
Wilson, baby.
They got Russell Wilson in there. They got Jackson Dart. And don't forget, old famous Jameis. They got Jameis Wilson. Jameis there as well. Winston.
Jameis Winston more than Russell Wilson right now.
If you're a fantasy football player, you want Jameis Winston with the ball. Give the ball because you want Jameis Winston with the ball if you are a fantasy football player because he will pepper the hell out of Malik Neighbors.
What if I told you Jameis Winston would go 30 for 30 twice in his career?
Yeah, seriously, man, it's insane. The outlook for the Giants is interesting, man. It's kind of bleak at this moment.
Dude, can't forget though the legend Tommy Cutlets in the QB room. How you doing?
Still there.
The greatest QB room in the NFL right now.
He's gonna bring the spaghetti.
Now, but go.
I do want to say, though, I think that they're going to be one of the best defensive lines in the league. I think they're going to stop the run a lot. I think they're going to be probably maybe top 5, but for sure top 10. I think that defensive line room is insane right now. Of course, if they don't let anybody go, because there's been rumors that they're going to trade. I always forget how to pronounce his last name, but number 5.
Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Oh, Thibodeau.
If they keep all of them together, him, Abdul Carter, and what's the linebacker's name? The one that came over from the Panthers last season.
I have it in here somewhere. Brian Burns.
Brian Burns. There you go. Thank you.
Yep.
If they could keep all 3 of those guys, bro, that defensive line is going to be crazy. They're going to stop a lot of run.
Yep. Well, it all starts with Dexter Lawrence up front, like that.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah,
I forgot.
How could you forget about Sexy Dexy?
That's crazy. Oh,
Sexy Dexy, my boy up there. Big
chill. You can't be sane.
Get in my belly.
No Diddy.
Yeah, I mean they definitely can only go up from with the defense, man. Just looking at some of the stats on like just the Giants in the offseason right here. Their season last year, they had a total of 301 first downs. The opponents had 331. They had 104 rushing first downs. The opponents had 129. Almost every statistical thing in their defense was bad. They couldn't score. They just were flat out a bad team and somehow managed to screw with the Colts. And I don't know how the hell we lost that damn game, but that's another story for another day. But anyways, man, the Giants are one of those teams I think that they will improve on their record. I don't think that they'll finish 3-14 again like they did last year. I could see them being a 5-6 win team. No, I can see them. I can see them eking out some games just because of the strength of schedule. They're going to have a weaker schedule. Maybe Russell Wilson. I mean, if you remember last year, Russell Wilson did have a couple good games for a little bit of a stretch. Maybe Jackson Dart can learn from Russell Wilson a little bit and kind of comes into his own. You never know what can happen with that. But I think that the Giants are still a ways away, but I just don't feel like they're going to be as bad as they were last year.
No, there'll be baby steps, but I think that they'll be marginally better, I think. But Giants country, let's TBD.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they're going to still be ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too high hopes of them, but I do think that the Giants are going to be better than they were and at least somewhat watchable. Do you guys have any thoughts on Jackson Dart? How do you think that's going to play out? Do you think he's actually going to be any good? I mean, he was pretty good at Ole Miss.
I don't know, but
as a rookie,
yeah,
as a rookie, meaning later on.
I don't envy him right now. Having to sit in that quarterback room, I don't know. I hope he survives the season.
I don't think he plays at all.
Yeah.
Would you guys play him?
I mean, it's tough, man. Like some rookies outshine everything that you think about a rookie, like Jaden Daniels, and then some rookies really just are super cocky and they can't do anything out there on the field. Mm-hmm. And if you're, New York, a lot of bright lights. You don't have a good offensive line like that. It's decent, but it's not great. You're going to get a lot of rush coming at you.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think one thing Jackson Dart does have in his favor, though, is Brian Daboll. And Brian Daboll did have Josh Allen when Josh Allen was when he was still in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen learned a little bit. Now they have definitely different coordinators. But having said that, he can. Brian Daboll seems like he can use a mobile quarterback. Whenever not Jaden Daniels, excuse me, Daniel Jones, whenever he wasn't hurt, there was some flashes with Brian Daboll and Daniel Jones. And I think Jackson Dart is a more athletic Daniel Jones esque. I think he could be a better player than Daniel Jones was in New York, but New York definitely still has a lot to do for them to get to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he gets to play, and I hope he all shines. But I always want to see everybody ball out. But the way that it's just all set up there in New York, I just think it's a recipe for disaster if they put him in there.
Yeah.
You sign two quarterbacks in the offseason, might as well try to play it with them too, and then let this dude learn behind them and the coaches. Maybe wait till next season. Oh, you know what? We're gonna let these two guys go. We're going to keep Dart, maybe draft another QB in the 3rd, 4th round next season to have a backup behind him. But now we're going to go on with Dart, and we're going to give him all the confidence. But for now, let him sit back, let him watch, let him learn how to be a pro, let him know how the NFL season plays out, and then maybe later on give him some time.
Yeah, you're literally sitting behind 3 other quarterbacks. So it, like G Mike said, it has to be like in case of emergency break glass type situation. So
exactly.
Yeah. And as far as, like again, the season outlook and everything, like it's just marginal improvement. That's what I see.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to win a few more games, but I'm not expecting anything major from them. A couple more games at least, maybe, or something. I don't know. We'll see. But what we're not going to end up doing right at the moment, right now, we're not going to go ahead and give our predictions on it because we're going to do that later on. When we give our predictions later on, so we just want to give it kind of a breakdown, just give our insights on what we have going on. But what we are about to do is something very fun, which I know you guys all enjoy a lot.
It's time for the DownBad debate.
In this week's DownBad debate,
I love it. I love this segment.
A lot of
I love
fun,
it.
man.
You worked on that.
Yeah, I thought that worked out pretty good, actually.
It was.
Let us know what you guys think of this stuff. Man. We're trying to always improve and make it sound pretty good. And Mr.
I thought that was good. That was a good segue there.
Tell us what
Mr. BC did really well on these ones, and we kind of put the graphic together. So always trying to improve and make things better for you. And now we got the audio going with it as well. So we're excited about all these different improvements and any kind of comments and shout outs out there. We really appreciate it. But having said that, since our good fella, Mr. BC, introduced it, it is time for our Down Bad debate of the week. This one is going to be a lot of fun for us here. And let's see here what we got here. We're going to make it a little bit clearer for you. As pictured up here, who is the worst, not the best, the worst player pictured below? You got Dame Lillard, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, Gary Payton, Isaiah Thomas, John Stockton, Steve Nash, Kyrie Irving, Jason Kidd. Now, these are also, just so a little bit of context in here, is that these are all players that they might not have played for this team. Obviously, Lillard doesn't play for Portland anymore. Paul doesn't play for the Suns. You get the idea here. Just having a little fun with these debates here. All right, BC, you're up top. Guess who gets to go first? BC, who is the worst pictured player below?
Oh my gosh. This is gonna be a tough one for me. Like for me, it comes down to two players. So I'm doing this is everyone's at their peak. That's what I'm gonna assume. And I would say for me, it comes down to, this might be sacrilegious, but Damian Lillard and John Stockton. Those are going to be the two that I whittle this down to. I think that the fact that all of these guys, everybody else kind of on the list, gives me some combination of better defense, better passing, or better scoring, for lack of a better term. I'm going to give it to John Stockton just solely because I think that what Dame gives you on the offensive end with scoring, with the deep shooting. I know Stockton was like a 38% from three, but the fact that Damian gives me deeper range in addition to his scoring output, I think just cancels out a little bit of what Stockton does. And I feel like for Stockton to be most effective, that's the other thing, that he's always tended to rely more on Karl Malone to have a lot of those assists as well in the pick and roll. So I think that the fact that Damian gives you more without necessarily needing a co-star to be great, I'm going to give him the slight nod there. So I'm going to go ahead and take out, or rather dub John Stockton the worst of the group.
That's kind of mean there, man. But because John Stockton was a bad dude. I'm gonna go. Mine is going to be Russell Westbrook, man. I think Russell Westbrook, out of these guys, is the least efficient guy out here. Now I know he puts up all the numbers that he's had. No average. He averaged. Now hear me out though. Here too though. I mean Russell Westbrook. Sure, he had the triple double seasons and all that good stuff. But whenever you're getting 52 shots to get all your points and you're averaging, I'm taking out Russell Westbrook in this one, man. I think Gary Payton was my runner-up. If I had to choose anybody, Gary Payton would have been runner-up, just because I don't think out of all these guys, I think his offense was probably the least. But Gary Payton had great defense. But
the best defense of anyone pictured there.
Yeah, I could easily buy that one. Without a doubt, he definitely isn't there. But if I had to remove one of the guys, it would be Russell Westbrook. I cannot do that to Steve Nash. Steve Nash is probably my top 4 or 5 favorite players of all time. So I can't do it to him. So I'm taking out Russell Westbrook.
So I love players that are two-way players, right? But in this picture, most of these players are just either great defensively or great offensively, right? Most of them. There's some that are great both sides, but not like to the standard of like greatness on both sides. Like one's good at defense and great on offense, or one's great at defense and good on offense, right? But when you got players like this that are just good, great on one side and like decent on the other, I gotta go with the offensive side always. So I would have to take off Gary Payton here. Yes, he was a great defender and he could stop a lot of these dudes. Maybe from scoring, instead of 25 points, maybe they shot it down to 15, 18. But he had no offense like that was putting up numbers to help teams win when it comes to scoring the rock. So I got to take Gary Payton out. Great defender, but his offense, a little cocky.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I was saying as well, Gary Payton or Gary Payton was going to be my pick as well, I think, in here too. But I could easily see getting rid of maybe even Chris Paul as well in this one. Okay. I think Chris Paul is a great general on the floor. Chris Paul is definitely one of the top players. I think you can put him in that top 75 or whatever number they're at this point. Love Chris Paul, but I think out of these ones, I would rather have somebody else. But I'm going that would be one of my runners up. So just so we can make sure we have a recap of this one right here, Mr. BC, who's your pick on this one?
On this one, I got to go with John Stockton. I think that he was just a little too reliant on pick and roll with Karl Malone to be considered as dominant as some of these other players who I think have shown that they can carry the load with or without a second star.
I'm going to go with Russell Westbrook. He's just too inefficient for me on the offensive end. Yes, he's one of the best. He's definitely probably the most athletic and best athlete pictured below, but I would much rather have somebody a lot more efficient at his position, and he's a horrible dresser.
Hey.
I'm gonna go with Gary Payton here because I love his defense for sure. Best defensive player here in the picture, but this game is all about scoring buckets. And to me, if you got one of these other players that are scoring 30 to 35 a game, man, I gotta go with the other players. So I'm taking out Gary Payton. Real quick, who's the best? Just pick. Don't make it a description detail. Just pick.
Steve Nash.
I'll say Chris Paul.
Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
That's it. Everybody went a little bit different here, or something like so. I like it. Kind of fun there. I'm surprised no one picked Jason Kidd to get kicked out. That Jason Kidd was I don't know. It was a great player. Don't get me wrong. Coach my Mavs. It's won a championship with my Mavs. I love Jason Kidd, but it's just. I don't know. I feel like his game was replaceable. I feel like he was just you don't think so?
No, man. This guy led the Nets. If it wasn't for him, the Nets wouldn't even touch the playoffs, bro.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even touch it. Because the way that he facilitated the rock and he ran the offense, bro, it was like defenses were just like, bro, why is this guy open? Now we cover this guy. Why is this guy open? Now we cover this guy. No, this guy shooting the three. Yo, what's up with the zone? What's up with the man-to-man? No, this guy's just picking off the defenses because he's just so intelligent, which is why he's a coach, which is why he won with the Mavs.
Great example of a carry job before guys like Braun were doing it. So,
yeah, no disrespect to J Kidd. He's coach my Mavs, and please stay in there because they were talking you're going to go to New York. So shout out to J Kidd. No disrespect to him. I just would have thought out of this one, someone would have picked Jason Kidd.
Well, New York already got Mike Brown.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying in general. Like there was even the thought that there was there or something like that. I think Jason Kidd is right. It's a good name for the job.
Oh, yeah.
And he played for the Knicks.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gents, that is going to wrap it up for a Wednesday edition of Views from the Stands. We really supremely appreciate everything you guys are doing, watching, and people checking in, making comments. Our subscribers been on the rise for a little bit, and please give us a like and subscribe. Enjoy it. Tell your friends, tell your family. We need everything that we can get.
Yep. Guys, please like, subscribe, and share the show with your family, friends. You're walking down the street with some stranger that you're passing by, just let them know about the YouTube, let them know about the podcast, let me know about the audio podcast, let them know about the social media links, man. Come on, man. We need that help. We want that help. We love the support that you guys are giving us, and we want it to continue to go on.
Yep. And if you guys want to keep commenting, you guys want to keep hopping on, you guys want to hop on the show at some point though too, just feel free to reach out. Let us know. We'd love to have you guys on. We love the extra feedback. We love the extra commentary. It just adds more to the conversation. That's the point of the show. It's for fans, by fans, and that's how we all get better here. So, feel free. We're ready for it.
Yes, sir.
Definitely, man. All right, well, that is going to wrap it up for the show, and we will be back hopefully this weekend. If not, we'll be back next week, and we'll be breaking down next week. We'll be breaking down what? So we're going to move the AFC side, so we'll be doing the AFC East, which was got a lot of fun division out there too. So really appreciate everything. Like and subscribe. We're out of here, man. Peace.